Okay, good morning everyone, and Hazak Baruch. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Monday morning as we are studying together a new week, new parasha. Today's class is sponsored anonymously for the Refuah Shlema of all of Israel, Bezat Hashem. All our learning, all our growth, all our inspiration should go as a merit for all those that need our prayers, for the hostages, for the cholim, for the safety, protection of Am Israel. Amen. As well, this week of learning is dedicated by the Torah Center founders, Pauline and Soli Asa, dedicated in honor of their parents, Hacham Yosef and Norma Asa, and as well, Tuni Mizrahi and Eddie Mizrahi, Ezra Ben Victoria, Alava Shalom, Be'ezat Hashem. All the week's learning is going to be in their merit. Hazak Baruch for all the amazing work that you do to help the synagogue and the Torah Center continue to grow and flourish. Of course, we know that without Torah, there is no community, there is no center, there is nothing. So Hashem should bless you to continue to be able to do all the amazing work that you guys are doing. Amen. Okay, my friends, Parashat Bo. And we know that our parasha has in it the last three makot. Matter of fact, I remember my grandfather used to tell me that the word Bo, numerically, Bet Aleph, 2 and 1, is 3. And it's a cute way of remembering that there's 3 plagues in this week's parasha. So if there's 3 in this week, that leaves us how many from last week? That means that last week we had 7. If there's 10 plagues, so 7 last week and 3 this week, which is a very interesting way to divide the number 10. If you had to put 10 plagues, first of all, I would put it all in the same parasha. But if you're going to split it up, I think would make sense, it would be 5 and 5. And yet we find that the rabbis decided to divide the plagues, the ones who created the parashiyot, the stoppings, the readings for every week. So they decided, the rabbis from many thousands of years ago, they decided to divide it not 5 and 5 or 6 and 4, or maybe we should do Rabbi Udaza way, 3 and 4, Desach Adash Be'ahav. No, 7 and 3. And I think really it's explained based on a class that we gave last year from the teachings of Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson. Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson has a beautiful shiur worth listening to on his website, where he basically goes through the 10 plagues, and he says that the 10 plagues are really corresponding to the 10 sefirot that we each have. We each have 10 traits, sfirot. These are the 10 sfirot. I'm sure you maybe heard of them, maybe you studied them. The 10 sfirot, don't get nervous when you hear sfirot, Kabbalah, not a complicated thing. We all possess these 10 sfirot. They're basically just 10 traits in which we interact with each other, with the world around us. Hashem interacts with us with these sfirot. Sometimes God has chesed, sometimes He's gevurah, sometimes He's tiferet. Okay, they're just different traits that we all have. Now out of these 10, 7 of them are emotional, and 3 of them are intellectual. So 7 emotional sfirot, they correspond to the lower 7. Chesed, gevurah, tiferet, netzach, hod, yesod, malchut. And I think we gave a class last year, if I'm not mistaken, on each one and what they mean. And the 10 plagues corresponded to these 10. Because what happened was that the Egyptians corrupted their 10 sefirot. And corresponding to each sefirah that they corrupted, Hashem brought a different plague. So as an example, Dam came because they corrupted their last trait of Malchut. So because they corrupted Malchut, then Hashem had to wake them up with the plague of blood. And we gave a class how each plague beautifully is a reminder how they corrupted that specific trait. Blood for Malchut, frogs for Yesod, so on and so forth. Just as an example. Malchut, what is Malchut? Malchut means confidence. Malchut is the idea that I have a strong sense of security, that I could do it, that I could achieve, right? Kingship, a king is confident. But a person could use Malchut for the wrong way. If I use Malchut as a way of controlling people, a father of the home, a mother of the house, a boss, a teacher in a school, a president of a country, a rabbi of a community. What do you do with your Malchut? What do you do? How do you use your kingship? You could either use it to completely destroy, right? You could use your kingship to destroy. You could use your kingship to control. You could use your kingship to make sure everyone around you is a nobody, is a nothing. You put your finger on them, and that's what you use malchut for. Or really, what a father, what a parent, what a rabbi, a real king is not control, not to make them under my fist. A real king is someone who understands that I'm not here to control people. I'm here to give people confidence. I'm here to be there for people. That's what a real king is. A real king is someone that the subjects, that the citizens, the people could turn to with any problem. A father should be someone that's there for his children, that the children could turn to with any problem. They could feel safe to come to their dad and say, Dad, I need help. I did this wrong. Please, what could you help me? A kid needs to feel safe. If a kid is afraid, that's not good. You shouldn't feel afraid to come to your parent. That's not our job as parents. We're not doing a good job if we're creating that relationship. If our image of Hashem is someone that we're afraid of, that's not a good relationship. That's not healthy. We should have yirah. Morah is not fear. We should never fear or be afraid of Hashem. Hashem is a loving Father. We should have awe. Awe means, wow, right? Awesome. We should fear sin. We should fear what sin could do to me. But we should fear Hashem as if He wants to hurt us. That's not a healthy fear. And this is malchut. Malchut could be good or bad. The Egyptians, unfortunately, they corrupted their malchut. The Egyptians had malchut. They had superiority. And instead of using it to help their people, to guide them, to be there for their people, Paro decides to use his malchut to control, to enslave, to persecute, to subjugate, to kill, to throw into rivers, to put into pyramids the babies. This is the wrong type of malchut. So he corrupted his malchut, and therefore the first plague was an attack on the Egyptian malchut. What is the confidence? What is the security of Egypt? They look towards the same way we look to a king. The way a servant looks to her mistress. The Egyptians looked to the Nile. The Nile was their king. It was their god. They looked to it for sustenance, to provide, to feed, to overflow. They needed the Nile. That was Egypt. And Hashem came in the first plague and He attacked that malchut. He attacked the water. He brought blood. As if to say to the Egyptians, this is what happens when you corrupt, when a king is corrupt. You can no longer turn to him for guidance, for help, for safety. What happens for 7 days when a country cannot anymore rely on the Nile? They're in denial, right? Okay, fine. Sorry about that. They can no longer rely on the Nile. That's a very scary thing. But that's what it feels like. So Hashem brought malchut, midah keneged midah, dam, because they corrupted. So on and so forth. Each plague, I believe, I'm going to go back, I have to check. If we didn't do it, maybe we'll do it this year. But I believe you could check out, for sure, Rabbi Y. Jacobson, this is from him. So anyways, we said there's 7 emotional midot, 7 emotional traits. And then there's 3 intellectual traits. That means after the 7 emotional, there's 3 intellectual. Those are called keter, chokhmah, and bina. Keter, chokhmah, and bina. What are these? These 3, they're how we think. They're how we analyze. They're our conscious, our subconscious. And they correspond to the 3 upper sefirot. And really it's the job of those 3, the intellect, to tell the emotions what to do. You know, in life, we spoke about this once, we don't act through our mind. We act through our feelings. Person feels, that's why movies and all these songs and everything, they talk to a person's emotions. Because if you could talk to a person's emotions, when we're emotional, we're very passionate, we do things. That's why you have to make sure you don't act in life from emotion. Very dangerous. If we allow our emotions to tell us what to do, a person could do very dangerous things. A person should never decide, a person should never act when they're emotional. When you're angry, when you're upset, when you're happy, don't ever make decisions from emotion. Because they're not coming from a healthy place. They could be coming from a dangerous place. person's very excited about someone who said something to them. When you're angry, the Gemara says, Kol ha'ko'ez kilu oved avodah zarah. When you're angry, right now, you could kill someone. You'll do idol worship. You'll do anything when you're angry. That's why it's very important when we're angry, leave. Leave the house. Leave the conversation. Just disengage. Nothing good is going to come out from anger. When we're angry, we have to realize that right now, I'm not in control. Right now, I'm not thinking rationally. Right now, I'm thinking emotionally. That's very dangerous. And I may do something I'm going to regret. I may say something to my wife, to my husband, to my children. I may say something to my boss that in 5 minutes I'll regret. Wow, why did I say that? Why did I say I don't need you? Why did I say I don't need this job? Now I'm fired. I don't have a job. I didn't really mean it. I do need the job. I do love my wife. I don't think my kid's an idiot. Why did I say that? I said it because I was emotional. Never act from emotion. Emotions are very dangerous. They're very important. They're very needed. But we have to be careful. We have to make sure that we don't live life because of our emotions. We don't act from emotion. By the way, that's not something that the world today really believes in. Today it's all about your emotions. It's all about how you feel. What gender do you feel like? What do you feel like? You feel like a boy, a girl, a dog? What do you feel? Whatever you feel, that's what you should do. That's what you should be. Right? How dangerous. How dangerous if, imagine, a guy feels like he's 12. So he could do whatever he wants with a little kid because I feel like I'm 12. It's ridiculous. If I feel like I hate you, I feel like I want to kill you, I could kill you now because I feel. Who cares about how you feel? Always, according to Judaism, we have to always make sure our intellect is in control. Our mind is running the show. Our sechel. We have feelings. Sometimes the feelings are not correct. A guy who feels like he wants to be with his secretary, that's not a correct feeling. That's a test. That's a dangerous feeling. That's going to ruin your marriage. It's going to take away the love, the feeling from the bedroom that you have with your spouse. A guy who feels like, just because I feel something, doesn't mean that it's a right feeling. Feelings need to be controlled. Our intellect controls our feelings. That's why in the language of Kabbalah, the 3 higher sfirot, which refer to the intellect, which correspond to the intellect, are known as the Abba and Ima, the father and mother. And the 7 emotional are referred to as the children. Because a parent's job is to tell the child what he can and cannot do. Child comes and says, Mommy, I want to do this. The mommy knows this is not good for you. I'm sorry. I don't want you to sleep over that friend. No, but I want to. But I know as a mom that that's not a good friend for you. That friend is not, you're not ready to be with that person. You can't yet. You two together, not that they're bad, not that you're bad, just together, it's not good. This is not for you. I'm sorry. The parent needs to be able to put their foot down and say no. That's the Abba and Ima. That's the father and mother. That's the job of the intellect, is to tell the emotions yes or no. Sometimes you want to do something. Intellect has to come in. The intellect has to chime in and say, I'm sorry, or yes, that's fine. We have to always act with sechel. Now you understand, by the way, why the makot are divided 7 and 3. We asked, why 7 and 3? Why not 5 and 5? But the idea is very beautiful because our parasha 3 is referring to the 3 higher sfirot of the Keter, Chochmah, and Binah. And then the last week was the 7 emotional. That's why they're divided like this. Now, when we speak about the 3 intellectual and the 7 emotional, we speak about Chochmah and Binah, but there's one word that's missing. Usually when we say Chochmah and Binah, there's a third word. We say in the Amidah, Chochmah, Binah, and Da'at. What is Da'at? What's the difference between Chochmah and Binah and Da'at? Are they all synonyms? We know in Judaism, there's no such thing as a synonym. So what's the difference between Chochmah and Binah and Da'at? Chochmah, we know, is information, is knowledge. A Chacham, person who has a lot of info. You could gain information by reading, by studying, by observing, by you see something, you learn something, you hear something, you receive information, you receive knowledge. Chochmah. Binah is to develop, to scrutinize, to be able to take something that I have and then to evolve it. Women are very good at Binah, by the way. Women take something and they make it better. Think about a baby. The husband gives his wife a seed. She takes the seed, but she makes a beautiful baby. The husband gives his wife a piece of wheat. She takes the wheat and she builds it into a piece of bread. He gives her himself. He's very raw. She takes him and she builds him into an amazing guy. This is the idea of bina. Women have amazing bina. Okay, bina from the word binyan, to build. The women are the binyan. They're the builders. That's bina. But then there's da'at. And da'at is not a trait. Da'at's not one of the 10 sfirot. Da'at is the bridge between the 3 and the 7. Da'at is when we take our chokhmah and our bina and then we apply it down to the 7. The bridge, da'at, you could say, is the neck between the head and the body. A lot of people have an amazing head. Wow. They know everything. Ask them any question, they know exactly what to do, what not to do. But unfortunately, sometimes the head and the body don't align. They have a broken neck. The neck is missing. The da'at is not so strong. They're weak-necked people. Because it's very hard to take what I know and apply it. It's not easy. Esav had an amazing head. Think about Esav. Esav's mind was brilliant. He was struggling with his neck. He didn't have a good neck. He didn't have da'at. He didn't bring it down from the mind to the body. That's why Esav's head was buried in Me'arat HaMachpelah, according to our tradition. But his body was not, because his body didn't merit. He didn't have da'at. He didn't have the ability to bring it down. Da'at doesn't mean knowledge. Da'at means to integrate. Da'at means to apply. Da'at means to connect. Da'at means to become one. Da'at means taking this and connecting them. It says, Adam yada et hava ishto. Adam knew his wife. What does it mean he knew his wife? He knew her. What does it mean he knew her? It means they were intimate. It means he connected. Da'at means to connect, to become one. To take what I know and make it one with what I do. To connect my sechel and my feelings. That's da'at. When Adam ate, as an example, from etz hada'at tov vara. What does that mean? He ate from the tree of da'at, from the tree of knowledge. What does that mean, he ate from the tree of knowledge? It means he became smart when he ate. That means he wasn't smart before. So if he wasn't smart before, then why is he at fault for eating? He didn't know he should eat or not eat. Who told him listening to God was the right thing? Why is Adam punished for eating if he didn't have da'at? You see, da'at doesn't mean knowledge. Doesn't mean smart. He had a lot of chokhmah, he had a lot of binah. What's etz hada'at? Da'at from the word to mix. Medameya, we say. Once you ate from the tree, da'at, tov and ra. Tov and ra became enmeshed. That's literally what it means, by the way. It's not the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It's the tree of infusing good and evil. That means before Adam ate, good was here, and evil was here, and you knew it, and you saw it, and there was no confusion. There was no blurred lines. I knew this is good, and I knew this is bad. And I saw bad in front of me the same way I would see fire. Fire is bad. You see it. You could touch it. If you're crazy, you touch it. But you see it. You know it. It's not confusing. That's what the snake is. The snake represents the evil embodied outside of me. I see it. It's right there. I could point and say, this is the bad guy. This is the bad thing. It was clear that bad is bad and good is good. But once Adam ate, then it became da'at. Then it became all mixed up. Then the good and the bad became all mishkabab. Now, maybe stealing is good. Maybe it's beneficial. Maybe it's beneficial to cheat on a test or on my spouse. It's beneficial. Maybe it's wrong, but it's still beneficial. Now it's not clear anymore. When did that happen? That happened 5,784 years ago when Adam ate from the tree. When Adam ate from the tree, now it became a little bit confusing. Now, what's right, what's wrong, right? Today we don't know. Today is very hard. Sarah Imenu, tried fixing this sin, by the way. Sarai Menu, we know, she tried to put strong borders. We say in the Eshet Hayil, which according to many was written by Avraham when his wife passed away. So we say over here, Gemalatu tov velo ra. She was able to know what's tov and what's ra. Sarai Minu had clear lines. This is good, this is not good. There's no confusion. Life, so much of life is gray areas. Most of the questions that we face today are not black and white. Right? They're gray. Here's a school. It's not fully, bad. It's not the best school. I wish we had something better. I wish we had something a little bit it's a gray. Here's a gray school and here's another gray school. Which gray school should we pick? Right? I want to send my kid to this thing after high school, or I want to send him there. It's not bad, it's not great. They're both pros and cons. It's very hard today. Today's a lot of gray. That's why today it's very important to have someone that you could go to outside to guide you on these questions. Right? That's why there's so much mahloket between husband and wife. Because most of the things that we're deciding on are not right or wrong. They're in between. And I think that this is the right thing, and my wife thinks that's the right thing. And we could both be correct in a certain way, in a certain area. We're both right, we're both wrong. We both have valid points. That's gray. Most of life today is gray. Gray is because of Etz HaDa'at. Right? The Etz HaDa'at created a world of gray. It was once black and white, now it's gray. Now it's confusing. Now there's a lot of in between. Now I'm not sure. And it's our job to make sure that we use our da'at to pass what we know down here. That's what we have. We're very lucky. We have a Torah. The Torah's job is to tell us what's right and wrong. This is black, this is white. Today's world, if you don't have Torah, you are stuck. You're finished. Today's world is so complicated. There's so many things today you could do that you don't know which way is right. Think about it. If you don't have a Torah guiding you, you're in today's world. Who's right? You listen to different politics and policy, and this guy is saying that this is moral, that guy's saying that that's moral, and they both sound okay. I feel bad for that guy that has to live like that. I feel bad. Maybe he's right. Maybe it should be okay. What's wrong? What's wrong? If you love a man and he likes a woman, then let him do him and you do you. How are you supposed to know what's right and wrong? It's just a feeling. Could you argue on a feeling? If your son comes and says, Dad, I love this girl, could you argue on that and say, no, you don't love her? Could you prove a feeling, an emotion? You can't use emotion. Emotion is a very hard thing to argue. Today's world is really, everything is almost decided on emotions. That's a very dangerous way to live. We have the Torah. We're very lucky. We're very lucky that we have Hashem who told us that this is not a healthy way. This emotion, you may have it, but it's not productive. It's not a good way to live. It's not overall what's the way man was supposed to create and to continue and to grow. All these different ideas. This is good, this is bad. We have Hashem telling that to us. The word Torah itself means a moreh, a guide, a direction. That's what the Torah does. It gives us direction. It's a compass. If you don't have a compass, where do you go? Which way is north? Which way is south? When you live in a world without a compass, you're in vertigo. Vertigo, you don't know what's up, what's down, what's right, what's wrong. So we have a Torah, we have a guide, we have Keter, Chokhmah, Binah, we have the intellect. And the intellect's job, my friends, is to direct, is to dictate, is to tell the emotions what to do. That's the world that we live in. Okay? This is again a little intro. And it explains why the Makot are divided 7 and 3. And it also explains something else. We find throughout the Perashah, Moshe Rabbeinu last week was coming in and out of Paro's palace, no problem. Can you imagine? Imagine a guy comes and he tells you, dude, I'm warning you. If you don't sell me your car, I'm gonna wipe out your entire economy. Wow. If I don't give you my car, you're gonna steal all my money from my bank account. What would you do if someone came and threatened you like that? I would call the police. Imagine the guy, forget threatening your money. Imagine he said, if you don't do it, I'm gonna burn your house. I'm gonna give your family the flu, the coronavirus. I'm gonna give you, right? Imagine someone started threatening you. What would you do? You kill the guy. You protect your family. It's amazing. For 8 plagues, Moshe is coming in, threatening Paro, and Paro is completely okay with it. Paro is relaxed. Paro is chill. Paro is no problem. Okay, fine, please. It's amazing. It takes him 9 plagues till he finally says, get out of here. And if you come one more time, I'm going to kill you. And then Moshe says, you're right, you will never see me again. Adios. But it took 9 plagues for that to happen. I mean, that's very impressive. Like Moshe and Paro, they have a very neutral relationship. They're very interesting. They're like, married couple. There's fighting, there's things, there's that. They're okay with each other. It takes Paro 9 plagues for him to wake up and say, get out of here. Not once does he threaten Moshe, don't come here again. He says, please stop, you're bothering the people. What do you mean, please stop? Here's a guy, he's threatening your country, you're a king, protect your people. If I'm Paro, I tell Moshe, listen dude, I don't know who you are, but you come one more time, I'm going to kill you. Put you in jail. He does none of that. He allows Moshe access in and out, no problem. Imagine a country were to send a drone over another country. It would be World War III. What are you doing? You're sending spies? What are you, crazy? And over here, Moshe and Paro, they're not getting personal. There's no threats. And then in the ninth plague, Paro gets angry. And then they fight. But it takes 9 plagues. But the idea, based on what we said today, life, like we said, is about making sure that we have da'at. Life is about making sure that we always remain here, what's right and wrong. It has to be clear. And then, that's step 1. And then you apply it here. The pasuk says, "V'yada'ta hayom v'hashevota elevavecha." You got to know, and then you got to apply. Have it clear, and then transmit it down. And if you have da'at, then you could have a good life. Even if you're not doing the right thing. But at least if you have da'at, it's very high level. Even if you're not doing it. But at least step 1 you have. You have da'at. In life, no one's perfect. We all struggle. We all have tests. We all have temptations. Sometimes we do the right thing. Sometimes we do the wrong thing. Nobody's perfect. In Sadiq ba'aretz asher ya'aseh tov v'lo yahita. The pasuk says nobody ever lives a whole life that's perfect. Some of us we mess up. Okay. But we wake up and we do teshuvah. And I know that's wrong. The Gemara says if a person does a sin and they feel bad, then they're immediately forgiven for 50%. Did you know that? If you feel bad, you're forgiven. 50% of the sin is gone. Why? Because if you feel bad, it means that you know that it's not the right thing. That's a very high level. So long that your da'at is still intact, that's very high level. Then there's hope that one day you'll be able to penetrate the emotions, the feelings. But what happens when a person corrupts his da'at? Once a person corrupts his da'at, once a person changes the rules, changes the laws, now they're no more feeling bad. Now it's okay. Now there's no hope for the guy. He'll never do teshuvah. The neck that connects the mind and the body. Anyone know how you say this part of the neck? Anyone know what it's called in Hebrew? In Hebrew that's called an orif. If you turn someone in the back of your neck, it's called panu alai orif. They turn their back to me. The Jewish people are called an am keshe orif, stiff neck. This is an orif. How interesting that the letters orif is the same letters as paro. Paro is this da'at in between the mind and the body. We all have it. We all have paro in us. When we're studying the Torah, don't think you're studying 3,000-year-old story. No. We're studying paro, that's us. We all have a little bit of paro. We all have a little bit of stubbornness. We all have a little bit of keshe oref. We all have a little bit of a problem with our neck. And we all have a little bit of a Moshe. What's Moshe? Moshe is that little voice inside of reason. Moshe is the conscience. Moshe is not so powerful. Moshe doesn't know how to talk well. But he's a little voice. Then he says, hey, come on. Don't do that. Hey, come on. Stop acting like that. Hey, come on. That's not healthy for you. That little voice. The little voice of conscience. Ay, right? Like Pinocchio, we all have that little guy in our head that he tells us, don't do it. And Paro, he has a little Moshe in his head. And like Paro, he hates Moshe. But he loves Moshe. He needs Moshe. He knows he needs that little voice. And we have very ambivalent feelings towards our conscience. We hate it, but we respect it. Make our lives miserable, but we don't want it to die. We know that my conscience, so long that it's alive, it's keeping me alive. Although it's very hard. It's posing burdens on me. I have to now be moral. I have to be, honest. I'd rather live a life of a degenerate. I'd rather live a life of just, irresponsible, just freedom. I want to do what I want. But we all know deep down, this is what it means when you believe in a God. Believing in a God forces me to live higher. We're living today in a world that corrupted Keter, Chokhmah, and Binah. There's no more conscience. There's no more feeling bad. Today we're viewing, my friends, we're seeing a world that is literally just changing all the rules. No more. Instead of raising people, we're lowering the bar. We're just lowering the bar. We're changing all the laws. Everything is mutar. Everything is okay. This is what you do. It's fine. That's we're seeing with our eyes. For 3,000 years, it was illegal. Maybe you did it. That's between you and God. What you do in your closed door, it's behind doors. Whatever you do, okay, we all struggle. But today, now it's all allowed. Now there's parades. Now you're proud. Now you're posting on your social media. Everyone see. There's no more embarrassment. When there's no more embarrassment, when I'm living in a world that I'm not embarrassed, what does that mean if I'm not embarrassed? That means it's okay. I'm changing today. We're changing the intellect. Once you start changing the intellect, once you start getting rid of the conscience, there's no hope. So long that you have your intellect intact, now there's hope. There's one day. What happens when the Moshe comes after the 9th plague? Paro says, I don't want to ever see you again. I don't want to ever see you again. This corresponds to a corruption of Chokhmah, Keter, Binah. Once we tell the little voice in our head, get out of my life. I don't want to ever see you again. Leave me alone. Once we start changing the rules, once we start okaying everything, once we get rid of the conscience because we've learned to allow everything, now there's almost no hope for the guy. And after Hoshech, when Paro tells Moshe to leave, he burned the last remaining bridge that existed of hope, the last strand. He cut it. How are you going to ever come home now? There's nothing to come home to. You don't even think what you're doing is wrong anymore. And that's why it's so important. We all struggle. We all have tests. And even if we sin, but at least if we know what's right and wrong, then there's a chance. When I know, okay, I shouldn't be doing this. But we come at the end of the day and we say, sorry, Hashem. And we cry and we feel bad. Then there's a return. But once we justify, once we make it okay, how are we going to return? How are we going to come home? Come home to who? Come home to what? We just basically, we just made it all allowed. The whole thing's okay. This is teshuvah, my friends. This is what teshuvah means. Teshuvah means that I'm realizing that I have to return. This is the goal, and this is where I am, and I have to get here. But many people, they live their lives, they end up just, whatever they do, whatever they feel, they build their philosophy around their actions. They build their hashkafa, they build a religion around what they do. That's why the Torah says we have 613 and you can't add and you can't take away. Because once you add and you take away, then you take away that, he'll take away this, you'll add that. Then you're basically just living your own life. Then you're just doing what you want to do. That's not what it means to have a compass. A compass means this is what's right. A compass means this is the way. You don't get to decide what's north and what's south. The compass tells you. The compass says, this is what I do, this is what I don't do. And so we have over here an amazing guy, my friends. I mean, just what a parasha. Realizing that when I sin, when my emotions are not in sync with my mind, but at least I have a mind that's telling me the right way, the wrong way. It was a beautiful parable of the Maggid of Duvna. And he says that there was once a guy, an archer, he was shooting arrow after arrow. Each one was landing in the bullseye. Each one was right in the middle. And a guy came to him, he said, tell me, how do you draw everyone in the middle? How do you hit every arrow in the middle? Perfect. So the archer told him, he said, I'll tell you, very easy. Most people, they draw the target and then they shoot the arrow. He says, me, I shoot the arrow and then I draw the target. Me first, I shoot and then I draw. Many people today, they live like this archer. They shoot the arrow, they do what they do, and then afterwards they'll decide, is that right or wrong? They base their philosophy, their value system on their actions. That's a very sad way to live, because then this guy says this is okay, this guy says that is okay. And Ashrenu, how lucky we are that we have the Torah guiding us. The Moreh, the ultimate Moreh, the greatest teacher of life. There is an episode later on we're going to read at the end of the Torah about a ben sorer u'moreh, about a wayward child. That this kid, he steals from his parents, he eats meat, he drinks wine. A 13-year-old kid, and the Torah says you bring this 13-year-old kid and you kill him. And that's always been so hard to swallow. How do you kill a kid? 13-year-old kid. For what? For stealing a little money? For drinking some kosher wine and kosher meat? Does that really warrant death penalty? What did he do so wrong? So he's a bad kid. We all bad when we were kids, right? Everyone's bad. We do bad things. Come on. But really, it's not just a ben sorer. Sorer means wayward. But he's more than that. He's a ben sorer u'moreh. It's one thing to do the wrong thing, but he's more than doing the wrong thing. He's idolizing it. He's teaching it. He made it into a way of life. Moreh, he's teaching. Moreh is a teacher. He created his own Torah. And so, my friends, every one of us, this is the lesson of the Ben Sorer Moreh. The lesson is, it's okay if we sin. We'll fix it. But are we okay with it? Are we koshering it? Nah, Rabbi, it's okay. Everyone does it. This is where the community is. This is fine. This is how my parents raised me. Now you're turning what you're doing wrong into that it's right. You're turning it into the bar, into the status quo, into the norm. That's a dangerous thing. We can never draw our target around our arrow. The Jewish people, when Moshe came down from Har Sinai, he saw them dancing around the Egel. And when he saw the dancing, he broke the luchot. And the Seforno says, why didn't he break the luchot up when God told him that they're doing the Egel? He should have broken them up there, right then and there. But says the Seforno, no. If you're doing the Egel, that's okay. I could tolerate Egel. What Moshe could not tolerate was when he came down and saw them dancing around the Egel, justifying it, turning it into an ideology. Oh, that's very different. That's very different. This is something that Baruch Hashem, as Orthodox Jews, we never did. As Orthodox, we never reformed. We never changed the Torah. This is it. We in the community, we never had perfect people. We always had people that do the wrong thing. But they come home and they know this is the right shul, this is the right way, this is the right thing, This is how it's supposed to be. I may not do it, but I know that this is the right thing. My tek, my keter, my chokhmah, my binah is intact. And so long, my friends, that we have that, then there's hope. Then one day we'll come home. One day we'll do the right thing. Maybe in 5 years, maybe in 50 years, maybe never. But at least we know. At least it's on the radar. But once we corrupt the radar, once we destroy our keter, chokhmah, and binah, and this is what happens in this week. Paro corrupts his intellect. Paro gets rid of his Moshe. He said, get out of my life. I don't ever see you again. Leave me alone. I don't need this. And I'm joining that shul, and I'm joining that rabbi, and I'm joining that community, and that's now okay, and everything is fine. And once we do that, then there's nobody home anymore. There's nobody to talk to. Hashem should bless us to be able to pass all of our tests. That we should always be perfect in all of our 10 sfirot. But at least to make sure that our 3 of intellect, of keter, chokhmah, and binah, our subconscious, our conscious, our scrutiny, that we remain intact. This way we will always be able to guide our emotions to make sure that we are living in a way that's accordance with Hashem, and ultimately the healthiest way for us to live. Okay? Stop over here, everybody. Have a wonderful, blessed day, and hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.